Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge. These are children and they are not insurgents and we are not being invaded.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back. It has been a minute. But we have to get into something. Because this border crisis thing is getting out of control. And of course, we have everyone's favorite congresswoman. Everyone's favorite Capri Sun slurping. Crayola drawing congresswoman. AOC, always on crack. Man, that's her nickname, man. But I mean, at least that's what I like to tend to her as. So you guys have seen the video of her basically, of course, defending Joe Biden with this surge of immigrants that we have coming into the United States. Let's actually take a look at that video and let's actually break it down, because a lot of things that she says in there are very construed and it's very misleading. And she says it in a way that Democrats usually would, to invoke, you know, like an emotional response. So let's actually take a look at this damn video and let's actually get into what she actually says and where she got some things wrong at. Let's go.
They want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge. These are children and they are not insurgents and we are not being invaded, which, by the way, is a white supremacist.
Oh my God, bro.
Idea.
Why do they always blame things on white supremacy? That fucking boogeyman that
is coming in the population, that this is like an invasion of who we are. They want to say, what about this?
Okay, so like, I mean, I sometimes feel bad for AOC because I mean, how can I put it? I mean, I can tell that sometimes her heart is in the right place with some things, but the kid is she's just so dumb. Like, okay, first of all, let's get back into this actual part.
This is not a surge. These are children, and they are not insurgents. It's not a surge. These are children, and they are not insurgents.
First of all, no one is calling these kids insurgents. That's something you just made up just now. We are saying it is a surge at the border because if you look at the actual stats, I actually have these stats here. I don't, because I was like looking for some of like the actual numbers, and I was just like looking. Some of you guys actually give me some numbers on where I can actually find some accurate like border numbers, because I don't want to just dish out any kind of old fickle numbers and they turn out to be wrong. But nevertheless, this is from pewresearch.org. Again, I hope that these numbers are kind of like in the ballpark. Okay, now let's see here. Okay. So yeah, see, the bad thing about this is that it kind of goes back. Well, I mean, it's not. It goes back to February of this year, but I'm gonna actually put the graph maybe like right here. But as you can see, now there was a huge. I'm still trying to figure out. I might even get into this article a little bit, but there was a huge spike in May of 2019. I believe, because again, I haven't read this article yet, but I believe that was around the time when Trump was when he was acquitted, or he was trying to get some funding for the wall. I know it was in one of those years, 18, 19. It was one of those years. So I believe that kind of contributed to the factor of that, like that incredible spike. Because of course, you have to be transparent. You have to look at the actual numbers. There was also a surge under the Trump administration. Like again, if these numbers are true, then yeah, we have to take it as face value. But if you guys actually look at February of 21, it's up at in February is calculated at 96,974. Now this time last year, around in April, it was at like the lowest point it's ever been, 16,000. And like, bro, like from that jump in up to in only a year, like look how it just skyrockets like that. So of course people are saying that, yo, this is a surge, because we haven't really seen something like this since, you know, that May of 2019. So I mean, again, I'm gonna have to actually look more into what actually happened on around that year and why it just jumped like that. That's crazy. But going back into AOC, he said these are not insurgents, these are children. Duh. We fucking know these are children. That's not the point. Let's break this down even further, even for someone who may be confused by what she's actually saying. Let's use the best search engine on the planet. Google. Okay, 1 second. All right, let's actually look up the word insurgent. Now, this is from Webster. Insurgent, by definition, a person who revolts against civil authority or an established government. A rebel not recognized as a rebellion, as a belligerent, yeah, not recognized as a belligerent, or someone who acts contrary to the policies and decisions of one's own political party. That's an insurgent. Let's have to go to dictionary.com. Insurgent, a person who raises in formidable opposition to lawful authority, especially a person who engages in armed resistance to a government or the execution of its laws. Basically a rebel. That does not define what is going on at the border. We're not calling these kids insurgents. They're not rebels. They're not in armed resistance trying to overthrow our government. Now, let's actually look at what a surge is. Even though most 99, maybe 100% of you guys know what a surge is, but let's look it up anyways, because people like AOC, they always construe things in a way to, again, it pulls at your heartstrings. Let's go to Webster. A surge, to rise and fall actively, to rise and move in waves or bellows, to spill around a windlass capstan or bits. Okay. To rise suddenly to an excessive or abnormal value. That's the difference. No one's calling these children insurgents. We're saying the actual numbers in which they are entering the United States. These images, I probably put them up here, of these kids in cages, because don't even construe anything. These are in fact kids in cages, because Biden is opening these facilities again, and look how they wrap it as like burritos and shit. Nevertheless, this is the actual difference. As an insurgent is someone who's particularly a rebel, someone who's an armed resistance fighter, trying to overthrow said government or said laws. That's an insurgent. An actual surge is when something rises sharply, it bellows, it crashes in waves, like these numbers that we're seeing at the border. Like they're skyrocketing since April of 2020. That's the difference. Y'all see the difference now. I mean, most of you guys already see the difference. I'm just preaching to the choir right now, but but see, that's the thing about AOC, man. They say it in a way that pulls at the heartstrings, and the fact that she actually constructs it conveys it with white supremacy. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? What does like I can't even what does the fact that we're seeing record numbers, well, almost record, because of course it looks like May of 2019 was still the highest thus far, but again, I haven't seen the lifelong track of the immigration stats, but we're going to go off 2019, but it's getting to that point again, nevertheless. So that's what people are worried about, the fact that you actually compare that to white supremacy. Not really compare, but kind of correlate that phrase of surge into white supremacy. Those two don't even correlate together. Like, how that doesn't make any sense. So if another Hispanic who actually got their papers, who made it out of Mexico, Honduras, or whatever, if they even look back and say, hey, this is definitely a surge of immigrants coming to the country, are they considered white supremacists? Because even they know that, hey, people are rushing the border. You guys, I've shown you guys. I don't think I did, but there was this video where people were just like flooding in, man. Like I don't think I actually uploaded that video. I think I mean to. I don't think I did. No, but nevertheless, I'm gonna show you right here, man. Look at that. That's crazy. The way that they were all just like rushing the border, and people were saying, oh, this always happens. This is new to me. So I mean, it could, but I don't know, man. But and of course, that's the thing about Democratic politicians, man. They are masterminds at words. I'm really starting to see this shit. They are masterminds at really conveying the message that will get you to feel an emotional response without actually looking at the numbers. And again, I just did a simple Google search and I told you guys the difference between an insurgent and a surge. Again, most of America, most people know all this stuff. But again, Democrats and Democratic politicians, they shape it and they twist it into a way to just fit their narrative. And it's really disgusting and sick, man. But again, it's crazy how they call it a surge. What is it? Yeah, I think they called it a surge on the Capitol. But when it's Trump supporters, but when it's actual immigrants who are like rushing the border in record high numbers, or getting close to record high numbers, then all of a sudden it's something different, man. I don't know, man. I really don't know, but that's AOC, man. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know, because I've been seeing a lot of people saying, it really is, most of it is Biden's policies. I don't know, like they say half of it is true, being that we had those record high numbers in April of 2019. I still have to see. I'm actually reading more into that article and see exactly why is it that it was that high under Trump, because of course you have to be transparent. I'm not just gonna bash Biden when if something I see is kind of flippy under Trump. I have to kind of see what caused that. You have to be transparent with things. You have to criticize both sides. It's only natural. So, well, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Let me know what you guys think about all this. AOC, she stays on the crack. I don't know what's going on. Maybe her apple juice in her sippy cup was low that day when she made this. I don't know. Maybe she was actually trying to draw, inside the lines of her coloring book. I don't know, but this one was a bad one for AOC. It's funny because also with this, with Biden having all these kids in the cages, like she's not actually down there at the border. And even Ted Cruz, I think it was, Ted Cruz went down there and like filmed all this stuff. And like everyone's asking AOC, like, where is she, man? She's not down here at the facilities when it's under Biden. But do you guys see the hypocrisy when she did that whole grandstanding, photo shoot thing at the border? When she was in that, like, that all white, and she was like yelling at this like empty parking lot or something that actually turned out to be an empty parking lot. And yet there are these images now that show these kids under these overpasses and being like in these type facilities and everything, and like I think on Fox they said like 9% had COVID, whatever, and like they're all just crammed up in there like sardines, and yet AOC is nowhere to be found. In fact, she's even sticking up for Biden. Do you see the hypocrisy? That's all I'm saying. So I didn't forget any of this shit, man. That's why I'm glad that I actually got really enlightened during the Trump administration, so I can kind of compare and contrast how these politicians are actually acting now that someone different is actually in the White House. But I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. Of course, AOC is going to take after Biden. So it is what it is, guys. But I hope you guys learned something today. This was fun. AOC stays on the crack. And yeah, man. But this just goes to show you, don't take anything at face value. Always do your own research. Even why I did this now, even small things like that, finding the difference between a surge and an insurgent, it changes the whole narrative. But you actually have to like really listen to how people talk and actually break it down, because you have to really read between the lines. So that was one thing that I that's useful when I was in school, and they taught that to us in our English class, is learning to read between the lines. So man, like, hey man, school is coming in clutch. All right guys, but I'm getting out of here, man. Take care.